Hi guys, I have some discussion, I want you and us to participate in. You know, I was just wondering, in comparison, the kind of love displayed by our mothers and our fathers in their own time and the kind of love that is existing now in our own generation. Which one do you think is the real love, the genuine love? Let me know in the comments. I have a personal story. My mother, when she was in her 20s, suitors have started pouring in from all over, Then she was with her parents in the village, and so many suitors were coming. My mother would say, no, I don't want this one, I don't want this one. Her father was disgusted of that. And because he was so eager to collect the dowry and the gifts that these in-laws, will bring, he collected from one of those suitors. He collected the dowry for my mother. My mother's hands in marriage. He collected the gifts, because in my country, if a man sees a woman he likes to get married to, he will go to the parents of the woman and say, hey, I love your daughter and I want to marry her. Not only him, he will come with his relations and they will discuss with the parents of the girl, and they bring gifts to the parents of the girl, and eventually they will pay the dowry of the girl and all the gifts that will go along with it. They will present. Then the parents of the girl will give the girl to the man that came to ask her hands in marriage. So at this point in time, my mother's father was disgusted, so he had to collect dowry and all the gifts that goes along with it from this gentleman. And he told my mother, whether you like it or not, you are going to marry this guy. My mother said no, she would not marry him. So meanwhile, her father had collected this money and has done whatever he did with it. So my mother and her mother, they agreed. They said, well, if you continue to be a good girl and you don't get pregnant along the way, let us work hard, two of us, to make sure we save some money and pay back this dowry to this man. And that was what they did. In those days, we don't have a blender, neither the home blender nor the industrial blender. So my mother will buy, beans, and she will use a mortar, pound these beans, and add other things they need to add, to make moi moi or akara. So they were doing this. She will carry it on her head, go and hawk it, sell it. So they did this for months and months, and they were able to save enough money, to repay that man his money that he paid as a dowry for my mom. And after they repaid it, my mother now told her mother that there is a guy I like. This guy comes from the city once in a while. I like this guy. Let us go and make inquiry about this guy. So her mother and my mother's father now went to the house of my father, and they made inquiry. They said, well, this our son is living in the northern part of Nigeria. My mother then was living with her parents in the eastern part of Nigeria. So they said, it's a good thing because we don't want him to end up marrying from the north. So we are going to make arrangements that two of them will get married. They sent for their son and they told him, there's a girl we have seen from a very, respectable family. and we think that girl will make a good wife for you. And my father got interested and, showed his interest. And after that, he went back to his station. Then, when the time came, the parents of my father and the parents of my mother arranged, they bought a ticket, train ticket for my mother. They sent a copy of it to my father in his own station in the north. They gave my mother the photograph of my father and said, if you get to the train station, this is the man. This is the man you are going to meet. All those while my father was communicating with his parents, he never saw my mother, because in those days, they wouldn't allow the woman to, have the way it is now, that you have to be boyfriend and girlfriend. They only make their intentions known that we have a girl we have seen. But he wouldn't go to the girl. So he kind of have a mental picture of my mother, but they haven't, come together. They haven't seen each other. So they sent a picture of my mother to him just to let him know, this is the lady that is coming to you. This is your wife that we have married for you. And they gave a picture of my father to my mother and say, when you get to the train station, this is the man that will be waiting for you. And they sent a message through telegram then to my father and said, this is the day and the time the train will be arriving. So my mother traveled many days in that train and got to Jos in Nigeria, where my father resides. And at the train station, she was looking at the picture and she saw my father, and they embraced themselves. My father took her home and they became man and wife. They were married for decades. They were married for so many years and had so many beautiful kids, until when my mother passed. So that is the love of those days. That is how it is. As a matter of fact, my mother told me that if you are in love with a guy, or a guy is in love with a girl in those days, and the parents for any reason refuse them to get married, sometimes they even commit suicide. They said no. The love was so deep. Now they cherish the love so much then. But these days, how is it like? They will ask, what are you bringing to the table? How much do you have in your account? What are you doing, for a job? How much do you have? Who is his parents? Who are they in the society? So guys, I want you to comment. The love of those days of our parents, the way they show love then, and the way we exhibit our own love now in our generation, which do you think is the most genuine, or the genuine kind of love? Let me know, guys.